Are you listening? Damn.
All right. Moment that you all have been waiting for. Welcome to AFC North Talk. I am going to be your moderator today. I am Ace Boogie of New Stripe City, representing my man Tony. Tony, how are you doing, man?
Oh, listen, it's not fun to be a Steeler fan, obviously. Not looking forward to the next 90 minutes. I do want to start, though, with a congratulations to the Cleveland Browns there. Tremendous performance, obviously, on Sunday. They beat the Steelers in every way you possibly could. So, while I'm angry, I'm sad, I'm everything you can be as a Steeler fan today. I do want to, I have admiration for what the Browns accomplished on Sunday. So, congratulations to Browns fans in chat. Congratulations to Quincy. Enjoy this one because I am going to go to my happy place, which tonight is not a crown and it's not a chef's hat. It is, unfortunately, a paperback.
All right, my man Sonny, repping the Ravens, also known as SZG Sports. Sonny, how you doing, bro?
Hey, my guy, can you just do me a quick favor? Just give me a sad tears just for Tony. Just sad tears.
Get some tears in
the chat right now. Just tears for Tony. Hey man, I'm good. Obviously the winning bottom here between me and Quincy. Quincy's out to do one of his dramatic entries. So let's start with Quincy. Ace, go ahead, man.
Q. Representing the Browns, my man Quincy. What's up, bro?
How we doing?
Oh, no.
I love it.
17 years. It's been 17 years since we have had that cloud of mediocrity take his ass out from the lakes of Cleveland. And now it's moved 90 minutes east to the Three Rivers of Pittsburgh, the factory of sadness in Cleveland. That branch has closed down, but a new one has just opened up in Pittsburgh. So much talk by the team, so much talk by the media. Everybody said that we didn't have a shot, no chance, no practice, no coach, no Denzel. You might as well stay home and not come on the bus because the big bad still is in this boy. But oh, Juju, you had to go running that mouth. You had to go getting nasty. You had to say that the Browns is the Browns. How them ugly ass jerseys looking now, boys? How do the Browns look now? Is that brown doo-doo still? I don't think so. Let's talk about what some of you guys, and I remember, I'm petty, I keep receipts. I remember in the chat, there was some talk of Baker still being the fourth best quarterback in the AFC North. Well, y'all care to relitigate that one in the chat? I love to see y'all do it. There was some chat of the Browns still being the Browns. Hey, what happened to beating the backups by 2? What happened to beating the backups by 2? You put the starters in. TJ Watt looked like Derek Watt playing defensive end. What did he do on Kendall Lamb? Not a damn thing. You had Cam Hayward looking as ineffective as I've ever seen Cam Hayward. And you know what's wrong about that, Daddy? He was on a backup left guard. Baker's out here introducing himself to offensive linemen that's out here stopping Blitzburg. Blitzburg is dying the same pathetic, useless, didn't win nothing, didn't accomplish nothing, all hype death that Saxonville has died. They have died the same death of the blank Bortles Jaguars. They are done. Do you see these two men crying right here? They know it's the end of the road. They know it goes nowhere but down from here. They got no free agents next year. They don't got Bud Dupree coming back. Juju going to be doing TikTok somewhere else. He ain't going to be back, and he's the only one that showed up, and best believe he did it because he ran his mouth. Now you got Chase Claypool on TikTok. It seems like once you lose one TikToker, another one got to sign a contract. Does the wide receiving room have a contract with TikTok? I don't know, but I love to see it continue because, baby, I love them little TikTok stars at wide receivers. I love the drops that turn into interceptions. People want Big Ben to retire. I want one more year at $46 million, Betty, so y'all can still be in cap hell going in last place against Joe Burrow once Joe Burrow get his leg back strong and bring them Bengals back to 500 football in the North. Y'all laughed at me all year because I predicted 6-10, and I've never been so glad to see a team go 11-0 because if y'all wouldn't have done this win in Pittsburgh wouldn't have tasted as sweet. But y'all had to go 11-0. Y'all had to talk about how, even when the Browns have a good year, they can't be above third place. Well, now you left this in Pittsburgh. I picked it up because Ben was too busy crying to realize that he still had a crown to defend. And you know what, Sonny? I'm glad you guys won. I wish you the best luck in Buffalo. I hope the Browns can get it done. It's a tall task against the Kansas City Chiefs. Not going to be easy for either team. Two great teams ahead with young quarterbacks all under the age of 26. And by the way, 2018 draft class, 3 stud quarterbacks. There were 3 duds in that class: Josh Rosen, Sam Darnold, and Mason Rudolph. How about that one? But the 3 young guys taking over the North, taking over the AFC. And you know what? I found this here, and I can't claim it yet. Because the Browns have one more game. The Ravens have one more game. If we can get to it, M&T Bank Stadium, AFC Championship, putting the North title on the line. If we can get there, it'll be the game of the century. And you know what Pittsburgh's going to do while the game of the century is going on? Wow. Sitting there hating the whole time, having nobody to root for, praying to God that somebody decent comes out the NFC so they don't have to end this season like that. Win 11-0 for what? 1-6. How did y'all do that? That's one of the greatest collapses in NFL history, single season. Thank you, Pittsburgh. I can't believe that the Ben era has died by the fate of them same damn Browns. But it shouldn't be the same damn Browns. It's the same damn sorry December choking, can't get it done in January since this decade started, choking dog bummy Steelers. They lose to Jacksonville how many times? They lose in the playoffs all the time. They've never gotten past Tom Brady's old booty, so it didn't even matter if they advanced because they wasn't getting past Tom Brady anyways. They can't do it. Tom Brady has more Super Bowl rings, almost the same amount of Super Bowl rings in his career than this entire franchise that loves to brag about the pedigree. Now what they got? They got no success to talk about. They got nothing. So Steelers fans, man, I hope y'all enjoy mock drafts. I hope y'all enjoy free agent big boards. I hope y'all enjoy. What pick y'all got? Let me know in the chat.
24.
The 24th pick.
24.
Hope y'all enjoy talking about trading up to get somebody better because y'all going to get somebody sorry in the first round. Just like y'all drafted Justin Lane. Sorry. Traded his Browns colors for Steelers colors just to be sorry. Just to not be liked in both cities. Sorry about that, Justin. Didn't know it was like that. Oh, man. Other than that, I'm feeling all right.
I love it.
We're doing good, man. Let's get into some of these super chats. Appreciate you guys. If you do want to derail the show or you do want to send us a super chat, you can do that in the comments. We're going to jump to this first one from Feeling Dangerous 113 for $20. He says, how about some offseason talk for Ace and Tony? #dog check. We'll get into that. We got plenty of time.
Yeah, I got plenty. Ace and I got plenty of time. We'll have to coordinate Ace after the show about mock drafts and draft boards and whatnot. Talk about, prospects.
Right, exactly. We got another one here. I believe they're flowing in here. You guys correct me if I'm wrong. We got one here from Josh Z for $4.99. Browns' first quarter was the twilight zone. Kansas City better be careful. Anything can happen.
Wasn't the Twilight Zone. That's what the Pittsburgh Steelers been building up to this whole second half of the season, playing sorry football. That's why they went 1-6.
Misfit Culture TV for $5. Appreciate that.
Hey, 1-5. How dare you?
Oh, my
Okay.
bad.
Turn the freak up, Quincy. Hashtag Corvette. Tony, how about them Browns? Dog freaking check. Hashtag we want more.
And the Browns are pretty good. Yeah, I would say they were pretty good.
So I guess we got to get into it. I don't know, Quincy, if you have anything else to say about that, but we'll start with.
I actually got some actual analysis. Yeah, dude.
That was an actual analysis.
All right,
that was the talk. That was the smack talk right there.
All right, so it looks like before we get into the games, it looks like someone in the comments wants me to talk about Joe Burrow's interview today. Joe Burrow is back in Cincinnati. He was seen walking in shorts. A lot of people are making a big deal about that, even though he's just coming out of surgery. He said that he's at 15% so far, so that's just an update. He's nowhere near being at a point to start throwing and stuff like that, but he does seem ahead of schedule. So Joe Burrow, that is your update on him. Does seem like he's ahead of schedule. Does plan to be back by week 1. Said he didn't imagine himself playing in the preseason. So that's your Joe Burrow update there. But let's get into this game. I'm wondering which one we should start with. Actually, let's go to the Ravens and the Titans game. Let's let the Ravens fans in here get some love real quick. And let's start off with Tony. Let's start off with Tony. What were your thoughts on the Ravens game?
Well, look, obviously big win for the Ravens, their first playoff win, Lamar's first playoff win. And what was so interesting about this game in particular is that it started off so similar to how last year's game started off. Right? In fact, if you look at the drive chart, it's almost identical. The turnover on the first couple drives, Titans come out and get take a big lead. Did not take a big lead. They took a 7-0 lead last year and then turned that to 14. I thought the biggest part of this game for me was the play of Baltimore's defense. Baltimore's defense showed up in a huge way. Not just stopping Derrick Henry. So much is going to get made of that, but getting big stops and big moments, holding them to field goal at that point in the game was so huge for them to keep the momentum there and keep that offense in it. Again, we've talked about this, right? Ravens coming back from big deficits, keeping it at 10 kind of kept the game. You felt like, okay, Derrick Henry hasn't really gotten going yet. Yes, they have they're up right now, but we're not out of this yet. We can keep in our game plan, right? We've seen this earlier with the Ravens, not just poor play from Lamar and the players, but the coaches too. Kind of they come out of the game plan and things kind of go off the rails. Didn't happen in this game. Harbaugh talked about Lamar Jackson's 48-yard run being like the greatest 48-yard run he's ever seen. It might be. I mean, it honestly might be.
My bad.
No, all good.
No, but I thought it was a fantastic run, and look, while his stats don't show a gaudy number, right? I said last week I think the Ravens are going to blow them out. I think they're going to be a big number from the offense. Well, that didn't happen. I don't think that should take away from the fact that Lamar was pretty good in this game for a game where, yes, you would have expected the Ravens offense, given how hot they were and how bad the Titans were. I think you would have expected them to come out and score more points, but don't let that take away from the fact that Lamar was pretty good outside of being a little antsy early on, bad interception early. Other than that, lot to be happy for in Baltimore.
Okay.
We lost Ace. I think we lost Ace. We're losing everybody today. Quincy came in with so much energy that this stream came in.
I knocked the server down. My bad. I apologize.
This stream just cannot deal with it.
All right.
I'm trying to bring the energy here down, but it's just not working.
Q, what do you say about the game, man?
Oh man, this is one that the Ravens absolutely needed. We talked about this. Me and Tony were joking on my channel earlier, but this really could not happen for the Ravens, right? Where the Tennessee Titans would beat you 3 times in the same calendar year, in pretty embarrassing fashion 2 times. Well, not embarrassing, but pretty heartbreaking fashion, I would say. So this is one that the Ravens needed. And one thing I've noticed with the Titans, they're a terrible home team. I felt like this was where the Ravens were going to go. I was surprised that the Titans were able to hang around, but if you look what the Ravens did well, we know that Lamar can do his thing. That offense is clicking on all cylinders. That run offense is incredible. We've known that. One of the things that's going to make them a lot more dangerous is that defensive line start to step up and play really well, specifically against the run. Shut down, suffocated. We were joking about how the Steelers kept them to 70, the Browns kept them to 60. They kept them to 40. Congratulations. Calais Campbell finally playing as good as he does on Madden. I don't know if any of you guys played the new Madden, but Calais Campbell is Aaron Donald times 5 on that game. He finally played up to that. Derek Wolfe had a good game. Brandon Williams, when they have all three of those guys inside, they're a really formidable force. They can push inside. They're a very good team, and they're a very dangerous team. Now they have a matchup with Buffalo that I think they get favorably because I don't think Buffalo can stop the run as well, and I think the Ravens are going to be able to dominate TOP. I'm talking like it's internet, my bad. But TOP. So that's going to be something interesting to behold. But, this Ravens defense is playing really good football, probably its best football of the year. And now this offense is also clicking at that same level. And it's normally a recipe for at least an AFC championship run. So the Baltimore Ravens clicking on all cylinders. They danced on that logo, but that was well-deserved and well-earned by the Tennessee Titans. We talk about a disrespectful team, not just to the Ravens. They are disrespectful for the last 2 years. They haven't even been that good for the whole portion of the 2 years, but they have been the most disrespectful team in football. Talk about jumping in the dog pound, being all this, telling Jarvis Landry the team has no heart when they beat Cleveland, all that stuff they said about Baltimore, just being disrespectful. And I think we learned one thing this week. Maybe you shouldn't be disrespectful to good teams. Maybe if the team's over 500, maybe you should keep the disrespect to a minimum until that team is officially gone, right, for that season. Then you can ramp up the disrespect as much as you want. But if you put up anything that could be seen or taken as disrespect, because it's a sensitive league with a lot of sensitive athletes out there, this is what could possibly happen to you. And I learned this firsthand last year when the Browns last year weren't even being disrespectful, but everybody just assumed they were because they had Odell on the roster and Baker Mayfield was out there chirping with Colin Cowherd on Instagram, and it became a whole thing. And every week teams wanted to beat that team because they felt like they weren't being respectful. It just is what it is. If there's anything you can learn from Super Wild Card Weekend, don't dance on nobody's logo, man. It never ends well once you start dancing on the logos.
At least the Steelers and Titans were respectful enough to punt on fourth down. Okay, give them that. They were respectful enough to punt on fourth down.
All right, we got some super chats here before I get into my take on the game. We've got Nandin CA with $2.79. Appreciate that. Bengals playoff win coming soon. Appreciate that. Justin Vanderbrook for $4.99. Hashtag Bills Mafia here. Better watch out, Ravens. Josh Allen is the GOAT. So we got some infiltration here.
Yeah.
We got future NFL MVP 21 for $4.99, 38-7. Remember that, Quincy. Steelers fans, where y'all at? Go Browns. I don't know
here, by the
where
way.
y'all at. Go Browns.
Check.
Apparently,
Is anybody spamming the score in the chat? Is Steelers fans spamming score in chat? Okay, I didn't think so. No.
Anthony Valdez for $5.
By the way, shout out to Steelers fans who already said I have seen a couple of you. Shout out for being here because this is obviously not a week where we want to be here, but some of us are contractually obligated to do so.
Yeah, I kind of respect y'all for that. I respect it.
Anthony Valdez for $5 here.
Go ahead.
Ravens versus Chiefs in the AFC Championship round. I think we got a couple more here. We got another one here. $5 from Murion Kirchebard. I hope I said that right. $5. Only reason the Ravens have anything is because of Art Modell. All right. And looks like we got a $20 one here.
I don't want to hear nothing about no Art Modell.
$20
I don't want to hear nothing
here.
about no Art Modell.
Art Modell. That's if you want to piss somebody in Cleveland up, just say those two words. Rich Lilly, $20. Justin Matabuke has a knee. Chris Moore has a finger bone bruise, are out against the Bills. Jimmy Smith, hip pointer. Ronnie Stanley, hip bruise. Justice Hill, thigh contusion. And Tavon Young, knee, are questionable. Appreciate that, Rich. You always update us with all of those injuries. Appreciate
it. Uh-oh. I think we lost Ace again.
Yep. Okay. 5G acting on point there. Morion again, Kirchebard for $5. I think I already said that one. There's another one here from Joshua Hunter for $20. Appreciate that, sir. 28-0 in the first quarter. Steelers didn't even want to be there. They knew what was waiting in Kansas City. Now the Chiefs have an actual opponent this weekend. So for me, I think with the Ravens game, I didn't get to give my pick on here, but I did pick the Titans. I picked the Titans because I felt like it's almost like the Bengals and the Steelers. The Steelers always have our number, except for on Monday Night Football against Ryan Finley, apparently. But that's what I thought that it would be a mental kind of thing, a mental kind of hurdle. The Ravens thinking about last year's playoff game, them thinking about this game where they kind of let it go at the end. But the Ravens did what they needed to do. And I think that this was a major test for them in their quest of being a real legit contender. Obviously, they started in the regular season with that streak that they went on. This was another big test for them because even though they got into the playoffs, they had to keep that same energy against a tough opponent that most going into this game would have probably have said this would be the last team that they would want to play outside of the Kansas City Chiefs. So they came in, they did their thing. LJ was LJ. I'm so glad that we can finally put away the narrative of Lamar Jackson not winning in the first round. That is completely null and void. They also did a great job against Derrick Henry. I thought that was the key in this game, them making a concerted effort to not be afraid of Derrick Henry, to do everything in their power to completely stop him. And I think it also, like you guys said, it also was some beef in this game. I think this may have been almost as chippy as, not close to as chippy, but somewhat near that territory of Bengals Steelers 2015. There was bad blood between these two teams. I mean, we saw that at the end of the game. They didn't want to shake hands, and rightfully so. I mean, you saw all the drama that happened last year with them dancing on the Ravens logo. They returned the favor this year. So it was a great game. I think that the Ravens definitely gained some momentum there, and they're definitely a true threat. And it seems as if, just compared to last season, a lot of people picked the Ravens to win the Super Bowl, and they're kind of coming in under the radar a bit into these playoffs with the Chiefs and other teams like that. So this is going to be a great game, I think, to watch, and we'll get into that more on Thursday coming up about that preview. But if you're a Ravens fan, I think that you guys did exactly what you needed to do, play Ravens football. Lamar had a great game. Derrick Henry did not. We also saw that Ryan Tannehill was Ryan Tannehill. Remember, it was just like week 5. We were like, MVP Ryan Tannehill. He's come back down to earth. It's not. He's Ryan Tannehill. So Ravens took care of business, and that is going to bring us to another super chat before we get into the Steelers and the Browns game. We got one from Jesus Beats for $4.99. Boo Boo Ben, pack in the air, baby. Go Browns. Hopefully I didn't miss one. Okay, no, I'm in.
Are you telling me, Browns fans, that you didn't feel sad at all that might have been Ben's last game?
Oh my God!
No, not at all. Put Ben in the coffin. Put Ben in the coffin.
That was the happiest.
Check his life alert system.
I don't know if I've ever been happier when NBC had that great video package of just like Ben crying. Yeah. I was like, what? He's crying? Yeah. Oh, it was like the fall of the Empire in Star Wars Episode 6. I was like, let's do it, baby. Let's fire up the Anakin holograms, baby. Let's do it. Put him on the fire stack just like they did Darth Vader. He done. He good. Marquise Pouncey sitting there. Oh, man, well, you know, I wanted to do it for you. What did you do for Marquise Pouncey? Y'all two are the exact two people who ruined the game. Y'all ruined it for everybody. The two people who are
sitting there. I know. That's what's so sad. That's what's so sad.
You have been cooking up more turnovers. You get a turnover, you get a turnover, you get a turnover.
And what's more fitting? Brett Favre went out on a turnover. And that's what Brett Favre, that made sense. The cowboy goes out on his sword. Yeah. What does Ben Roethlisberger do to go out? He goes out with the most Ben Roethlisberger game of all time. Over 500 yards, 4 touchdowns, cooking. Oh, 4 interceptions? Oh, okay, that's not good.
No, it's a good point because and I know there's not a lot of Steeler fans here, right? But like this is we all like the end of Ben Roethlisberger. We wanted to imagine was going to be the fairy tale ending, right? But they're called fairy tales for a reason. It's because reality doesn't work like that. If you look back at how the quarterbacks like this, how their career ends. How did Dan Marino's career end? He didn't go off riding on the sunset. They lost to the Jaguars, a near expansion team Jaguars, 62-7. You talked about Brett Favre, who by the way didn't even play in week 16 of his last game. He finished that year with 19 interceptions in 13 games. And even the best case scenario, right? Even Peyton Manning, who did go out winning a Super Bowl in his last year. I mean, he was carried by a team. He threw 1 interception, no touchdowns, 56% completion percentage, and sacked 5 times in that Super Bowl win. A blowout win, by the way.
Peyton was bad in that game.
Yeah,
he was bad that season.
He was terrible in that whole season. So, if Ben Roethlisberger was always going to end his like this, if this always was what it was going to look like, we Steeler fans hoped it would be next season, but it was today or Sunday.
Bring them back for next year. We're ready. Got a super chat here from the Trib One for $5. He says, it's okay, Tony. Y'all might get Watson. I think the Browns match up better versus the Chiefs than we do. We blitz too often. I got y'all winning. I don't think that you're going to get Watson just because Ben is owed like $42 million. So
Well, they can make it work. They can make it work cap wise. Cap wise, it won't be a problem.
You don't have the draft pick asset.
Yeah, I don't know that given how much other teams are going to offer, I don't know that the Steelers could offer more unless they offered players, right? I mean, look, if they did something crazy like offer TJ Watt up in a deal, maybe you can make that work. But boy, trading TJ for Deshaun Watson is Anyway, we can keep moving. I don't want to derail on the Deshaun Watson thing.
Big super chat here from my guy Joshua Hunter, $50 representing Ravens Nation. He says Ravens versus Browns in the AFC Championship. Let's get it done, AFC North.
There's nothing I want more than that. There's nothing that Raven fans. I don't know if Raven fans, because even if I were confident in my team, playing a division team and expecting to beat them 3 times in a year, that's always one where you go, I don't know how that one's gonna go. But boy, that would be the game of the century for a lot of people.
That's blockbuster.
Super blockbuster for sure. So we got a couple of super chats here that I'm going to run through. Trib again, $5. And before I speak too much, love on the Browns. We tapping that thing come AFC Championship. Bring a tissue for them tears. Pause. Is Hollywood back?
Was he?
Hollywood Brown?
Yeah, he had a good game. I'm going to talk about it.
Yeah, Hollywood, he wasn't bad.
No, yeah, he had a non. I don't know the player that played that day, but I'll talk about it too.
He's looking more and more like not like the number 1 receiver we all thought. Well, not we all thought that some thought he would be, but he's looking more and more like the dependable 2.
Yeah.
He's a 2.
He's back to being Hollywood Brown. He's not Pookie Brown no more.
So we'll go with that.
Tyreek Hill yet?
Okay. No, Tyreek.
We'll go ahead and let Tony talk
about
the Ravens game. Go ahead. Sonny.
Okay. My guys, Lamar cannot win from behind. Can't win that big game. That's all I hear. He cannot win from behind. He cannot win the big game. If Lamar's down by 10, game over. Not only he was down by 10, he threw a horrible pick. As bad as a ball you can throw. Instead of leading the guy, he threw behind a floater. And then Butler, which was very disrespectful. We're going to get into it very soon. But damn it, the Ravens came back. And they came back. And that defense, let me start with defense. The defense clamped down. That D-line. Look, if you just go back watching film, that D-line won the assignment and every single opportunity. One thing I said pregame was the weak side outside linebacker needed to stay put. It cannot over pursue and needed to just stay there. Derrick Henry could not cut back. A guy was always there waiting for them. This was a spectacular. The defense also only allowed the one big drive where they scored a touchdown, which, for my opinion, was a clear OPI. I'm not here to bitch about the officials, but I'm gonna do it real quick. How is that not an OPI? But then Willie Snead graces the guy and gets called an OPI. I'm like, because I went back when the push-up from AJ Brown, and AJ Brown's a hell of a receiver, caught that touchdown. I was like, okay, this is a Marlin, because you can see in that whole drive the officials were letting them play. And, I was like, okay, if that's what they're going to do, as long as they're consistent, Ravens, you need to adjust. Defense, you can push because they're letting that happen, right? And on offense, we need to also do the same thing. And then they call that bullshit. Anyway, I digress. And then, obviously, Lamar throws the pick, but then we come back. And Lamar hit that run. Now, first of all, the big play that happened, which it is the turning point for the Ravens, he gets flushed to the right. Adoree Jackson tried to run Lamar. He can't get to him. He throws it to Mr. Mark Andrews, Mr. Moore, dependable tight end that we have. He catches it, and after that, the Ravens start clicking. Hollywood Brown, look, Hollywood Brown, there's something in this game that I had never seen him doing as a Raven. Yards after the catch. Usually Hollywood, he can get a yards after the catch if there's nobody near him. But not yesterday or Sunday. He was actually looking to get guys miss, and he actually made some guys miss, which I was like, dude, where were you? Right? So Hollywood got a lot of yak yardage, which I was very surprised with that. The running game, look, the Titans were putting 8-9 people in the box, and the running backs suffer a little bit, right? If you go back to the box score, J.K. didn't have his strongest game, and Gus didn't have his strongest game. But Lamar, man, the thing with Lamar is if you get him a crease and he hits that hole, he's gone. And he was gone. And the Titans were trying to get to him, but nobody could run and get him. But this game it missed me for everybody that said that the Ravens were very disrespectful. I got some Browns and Steelers fan, because this is obviously before that game, saying like, oh, what happened there? What the Ravens did was unprofessional. Not only what Quincy was saying, all of the disrespect that we had with them beforehand.
Yes,
not only that, when they were up 10-0, you can see a Malcolm Butler flipping Lamar. When they were up, oh yeah, they were coming and they were just in their face, and who had the last laugh. So I never seen this Ravens team doing this, to be honest. Never in my entire life. The Ravens, when they lose, they go congratulate the team. When they win, the same thing. You will see if we win or lose to the Buffalo Bills, we will go there and shake hands. If it is the Browns or KC, win or lose, we'll go there and shake hands. Because, we never do this, but the Titans, nah, man. You have a special place in our hell in Baltimore. And, yeah, man.
Seems like that
whole
rivalry is
division
back.
It's Ravens Oilers all over again. I guess Ravens Oilers was never a thing, right? It was
Ravens Titans, Steve McNair and Ray Lewis.
Yeah, Ravens Titans.
Yes, sir. And it was fitting that the interception happened, because it was the only way the whole logo thing was going to happen. And then as soon as it happened, Peters is a very disrespectful person. I'm not going to sugarcoat it.
That's all about the AFC Championship game, baby. We got something to finish there.
Yeah. So he went straight to the logo, and the rest is history. Look, this was a very big game for the Ravens. Lamar got the monkey out of the bag. They played good defensively. I said that the defense was getting healthy at the right moment. You can see, right? The defensive line was healthy. Now, for the first time, I don't know when, we had 3 healthy, good corners out there. You can see it, right? Again, the touchdown drive that they had, very physical. And again, if they're going to allow that, Marlon said that was on me, and that's fine. But after that, even that, they took care of that. I think there was a complete team effort, complete team win. And getting Derrick Henry to 40 yards, it's not a small task, but the guys did it. How about them Ravens?
One other thing I want to point out real quick before I get super chat, real quick. They had the all-22 camera for this game. I was watching it on that. One thing I want to give credit to Greg Roman, because we got a lot of hate on this show for so long. Greg Roman called a really good game, especially the adjustment he made at halftime. What the Titans were doing was the quick outs. Yes, because they were rushing safeties into the box basically in every play. They switched to the quick out thing. Beat those corners one-on-one, and I'll tell you what, it was a great game plan. The Titans had no answer for it.
They stopped it out, right? Once that happened, the corner started to dry up a little bit, right?
Yeah.
And what happened then was that's when Lamar, when he hit the run, there was no corners there. There was no containment. The whole point to have the corners back, because the safety was playing in, is if Lamar breaks anything, the corners are there to help. There's none of that. So yeah, man, Greg Roman, he's been calling a great gameplay, and I've been saying that
I should say you have not been saying that, but in chat and whatnot, it's been a theme we've talked about it at points of this season.
Big trust, baby.
Yep. So that gets us to the super chat here from Justice Holmes for $4.99. I hope Ben comes back for another year so the Browns can get 2 wins off of him.
Yeah, we'll talk about. I don't think we should talk about that today. As far as will Ben come back as well? Plenty of weeks to talk about that. But we can.
Oh, he's got 42 million reasons to come back. 41 million reasons. Crystal 17 for $5 says, "Hey, do you guys think Baker and Stefanski can be the next Drew Brees and Sean Payton?"
Why not? That's all I will say. Why not?
You got to prove it before you get that comp. You know what I mean? You got to prove it in these big moments. But this is what the playoffs are for. If you prove it during this run, you make a run to the AFC Championship or to the Super Bowl, or crazy win it all. Hey, who gonna tell you nothing? Who gonna tell you anything at that point, right?
Okay. Got another super chat here from Richard Gonzalez. Appreciate that, Richard. I honestly think it is time for them to go with Mason. He plays hard and is part of the 2018 draft class. He plays with heart.
Go with me.
Like I said, obviously we'll talk about this all off season. My initial thought to this is it's not the worst idea when you consider all the other problems they're going to have in 21 and the fact that in 22 they have a ton of cap space. In fact, they have the most cap space in the league that year. So if you consider 21, if Ben does retire, maybe a dead year, and then you kind of recalibrate in the draft, you're not going to have a pick in the draft that's going to get a quarterback. So you recalibrate at that point. I guess you can make an argument for that. There's a lot of things they can do if Ben and Pouncey both retire.
Yeah, you know who else play hard and play with heart? That's from the 2018 draft class, Sam Darnold.
lots of burritos and donuts that Ben can buy with that $41 million. Got another super chat here from Dylan Capone for $7.99. Is this the changing of the guard in the division? Browns and Ravens. Steelers defense is great. Too much ego on defense. Let's go Ravens.
I'm not mad about it.
Well, we'll talk about the Steeler defense later on. I'm sure. That's coming up. That's coming up.
It's coming.
All right. Looks like our man Rich Lee has another injury update here for us for $10. Cornerback Robert Jackson, his hamstring. Cornerback AJ Green, offensive guard Michael Dunn has a calf injury, have been placed on IR. Kevin Stefanski, Bentonio, and Kadero Hodge will soon be activated.
Yeah, Robert Jackson being out, that might actually be a big deal as well as like AJ Green, the backup for him. Like we're running thin there at corner to begin with. Like those are like the third options. And I am not sure about Denzel Ward coming back this week.
Ooh.
Someone says, Corey freaking Preston for $5 says, someone buy Q a green screen so he can have his entire background be Juju.
No, I'm good.
That's how you answer TikToks, right?
Got another super chat from Lydia. Appreciate that. Lydia for $4.99 says, something in my soul says the Browns are going to have another signature win.
Let me say something real quick because I know we're going to now go Steelers and Browns. I told my wife, for some reason, I dreamt the Ravens are playing the Bills. This is pre us playing the Tennessee Titans. I was like, but that's weird because we play the Titans today, and I don't see how we can play the Bills. And, well, this is what was happening. It was a Browns victory. It was beautiful. I watched the whole game back. I went back because I obviously didn't watch it live. I enjoy every minute of it.
Oh, a lot of people did. Ace, you enjoyed it.
I loved it. I was tweeting tweeting the entire game, loving every single moment of it. I was egging Quincy on. I was like, come on, bring that Big Ben pack out.
It was too good. It was too good. I was like, there's no way we don't blow this at this point. Like when they got out that far, like there's no way, right? There's no way. It was like watching the Bengals game. When the Bengals just, I was like, okay, they're gonna come back, right? They're gonna come back. And then they come back and then it gets stopped. And you're like, it's time to start digging the graves.
So let's get into that game. This is what you guys are all here for. Browns versus the Steelers. Let's start off with my man Sonny. What were your thoughts on this game?
Thank you for starting with me because this game was spectacular. First play of the game, high snap, Pouncey, touchdown, right? And I'm looking at this, and you can see Connor telling Big Ben, like, I got this. Like, I had the ball. And then he over pursues, and obviously it doesn't get the ball, and the ball rolls to the end. So touchdown, right?
Wow.
And I mean, and after that, obviously the picks happened. And you will say, okay, this game was because all the picks and all the foolishness that Big Ben, and in the second half, more like half third quarter on, you can see Big Ben cooking, as Tony likes to say. I also can say that the defense that the Browns was presenting at that point was different, right? It was different. It was basically, we're gonna give you, we're not gonna allow too many big plays. We're just gonna give you 1%. But this game, and this is very important also for Bengals fans, for whatever Bengals fan we have here. This game was essentially won in the trenches. I was shocked, not surprised. I was shocked how great the D-line for the Browns played this game against the offensive line. Not only Myles Garrett. Like, Myles Garrett was just killing Villanueva. Like it was absurd. There was a play that the Browns rushed 3 and still got pressure on Big Ben. But But just when they were rushing 3 and 4, they were getting pressure on Big Ben, and that helps the secondary. We know the secondary of the Browns is not great when they're healthy, but right now they're depleted. But if that D-line keeps playing like they were, they're gonna be tough. So that was shocking. Well, let's flip on the other side, because this defense, this hell of a great defense, man, that O-line for the Browns, respect to them, because they were doing great. Run blocking, pass blocking, they were amazing. Tony's boy, Highsmith, he looked like a rookie. And this is not me killing it, because he looked like a rookie. Rookies are gonna make mistakes. The missing of Dupree, in my opinion, was noted in that game, because TJ.
Oh, Sonny, you're thinking of Cassius Marsh. Highsmith got hurt like 10 plays into the game.
Oh yeah, I'm sorry.
Yeah, you're thinking of Cassius Marsh, who was very bad.
So I'm sorry. TJ Watt was nowhere to be found in this game, right? Very little. And when the Browns scored that touchdown, the Kareem Hunt that did that beautiful like step back and just went untouched to the touchdown, you can see the faces on Hayward. Hayward was like, "What the F is happening?" Like he was in this, and I loved it. That should be one of your pictures, Q. Like he was like,
"Oh, I got so many."
He was like, "What is this real life? Is this real life?" Look again, trenches, and I said the Bengals because I see so many Bengals saying like, "Hey, we need to get to the receiver." No, one of the reasons the Browns right now are so good. Baker's playing better. The running game is there, but it's the O-line. That O-line, even with the backups, right? Because it's going to be hard to have 5 great O-linemen, which when healthy, the Browns do present. But that O-line is great. And when you pair a great O-line with a D-line that played great, yes, Big Ben had a bunch of picks. The receivers were missing because a couple of those, they weren't perfectly thrown balls, but they're catchable. But that D-line was pressuring, and Big Ben was feeling that heat, and he was rushing those passes. So I think this game, although you will say turnovers and all that, trenches play a key role. Plus, sheer stupidity from the Steelers equals victory from the Browns, which had a great game, hell of a game, defense, offense, trenches. Shout out to the Browns, man.
So I'm gonna get everybody here to gather for this service here. We got a brochure here today. Just want to recognize this guy, Ben Roethlisberger. He loved his donuts. He loved throwing picks to Reggie Nelson. He loved crashing on motorcycles. But it's over. It is over. We have witnessed the death and the demise of Big Ben Roethlisberger. It is over. Pour out the liquor. Pittsburgh Squealers, ladies and gentlemen. The era is over. It's over. Pour out some liquor for Big Ben. He is done. That is what I saw in that game. I saw that Big Ben was pretty much done. That arm is done. Let him Big Ben cook. He was overcooked himself in that game. Turnover after turnover. It was hilarious. I thought that was the game that should have been shown on Nickelodeon because Big Ben had so many picks. And it was hilarious. And everybody just rejoiced and just really enjoyed that moment. I was proud of the Browns for coming in there and doing their thing. For them to come into that game, backs up against the wall. All of these guys, their coach wasn't even there. Let's just talk about that. The coach wasn't even there. He's watching this game, just like you and me, in his basement in Cleveland, and his team just runs it up on the Steelers. I enjoyed every single moment of it. I purely enjoyed it. I think the Browns, and this is the thing, we talk about, and I talked to Tony about this, last year, after the OBJ trade, that was a different feeling for anyone who was in this division. You have never seen the Browns go out and get this guy and be like, oh, the Browns are about to, like, they're going off. And then you see them get Kareem Hunt. And then you see all of this stuff start to happen. And going into it last year, I think I still had the Browns at 11-5 last season. It wasn't a shock to me that the Browns have been this good because they really, this offseason, effectively fixed their 2 biggest weaknesses, their head coaching position and their offensive line. As soon as they did that, they were good, but people were still underestimating them, me included at the beginning of the season. I wanted to see them get a real win. But this team is here, and this team is, and the Ravens are the future of the AFC North. The Bengals, we still have to get Joe Burrow there. We can be there too. Right now, we're not there with those teams at this moment, but these teams have ascended to the top of the AFC. The Browns are legit. I think a Steeler tried to take my Wi-Fi out there. The Browns are legit. They're here, and we're going to have to see where they can go from here. I don't think you can just write them off. Anybody that's playing Pat Mahomes is a tall order, but this is a team that's built to possibly surprise them. So we'll have to see what they continue to do with this wave. But it was funny to see the Steelers go out like that, especially with all of the crazy dancing, the TikToks. It's just ridiculous. AB is not the only problem. AB was not the only problem there.
Nope.
So we'll see what happens for the Steelers going forward, but it does not look good. So before I move on, let me get into a bunch of super chats here. We appreciate you guys sending those in. Please be sure to send some more in for us. We've got my man Dismas here for $10 as a Steelers fan. I was worried with the right reason before this game, but I am here to eat my humble pie and congratulate the Browns. You guys earned it. Wow. Another solid Steelers fan outside of Tony. I'm surprised.
Hey, I think there are a couple before this. That we missed. So
Yeah, there's one from Anthony Valdez.
All right.
Yeah, there's a couple more.
Let's see. Okay. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Sorry, guys. Yeah. All right. So I've got one here from Anthony Valdez for $5. SZG, your team is the only team to win. Browns won't be able to beat KC.
I don't know. I think the Browns could win, and we'll talk about it.
Let's not rule anything out. Yeah, we'll talk about it on Thursday, but let's not Chase Claypool that one. Okay, the Browns.
James B for $10 says Kareem Hunt will run with violence again and would like to see more Chubb and Hunt in the backfield at the same time. Enjoyed Hunt carrying 3 Steelers into the end zone. The Steelers are soft.
Yeah, I'll say it too. They were excited to get him back.
If Quincy doesn't say the word LifeLock on his recap of the game, I'll be disappointed.
Also hard with the $5 super chat here. The Steelers struggled. The Browns youth outplayed the old heads. Go Ravens. Got another one here from Colt Linder for $4.99. Ben hit 50 passes just for Claypool to cry out about how he got shut down by a practice squad DB on TikTok live. Haha. Q, you the GOAT. Love ya. Go Browns.
Thank you for that, bro.
Got another one here from Feeling Dangerous, $113, $10. Tony, how do the Steelers go from here in your opinion?
Well, I mean, where do they go from here? There's a lot to talk about there. Look, we'll spend a lot of offseason talking about it. First things first is they got to figure out, are Pouncey and Ben really retiring? And then you go from there. I should just say, by the way, a lot of you have asked me in the past couple weeks. I'm going to start my own YouTube, so look for that in February. We'll talk all about that there. Yeah. But they got to figure out what's happening with Ben and Pouncey first. Then you figure, okay, what are we doing with quarterback? And they have to address cornerback. They have to address offensive line. They have to address running back, and they have a huge depth problem that they're going to have at a lot of positions too. That they're going to lose guys like Avery Williamson and Chris Wormley, guys you don't really think about, but who were key little pieces that, as far as depth goes, that they have to address as well. There's a lot they have to work on.
All right, we got another one here from Josh Z for $2.99. Shout out to Parky for making every single kick. Got another one for Too Many Clint's for $2. Here's $2 for Reverend Q. Throw that in the pulpit, Quincy. We got another one here from Murrayon for $2. He says Blake Hance for the win. We got another one here, Corey freaking Preston for $5. We have a prediction in the chat from Y Soldier Girl. Browns are only scoring 3 points against the Chiefs defense. Hilarious.
Yeah, Sammy Watkins' burner account because he was already talking stuff on Instagram already.
I was gonna say I didn't realize Chase Claypool was actually in the chat, but
Ace, we have one more, so then you can be clean from Richard Gonzalez. Yep.
Got another one here from Richard Gonzalez for $5. Says Browns are going to win Sunday. I believe in this team. Dog check. Go Browns.
The biggest thing is that this team believes in this team. Now, I want to talk about narratives, right? And all the narratives are going to be said about the team nationally, the TikToks and all that. But I think the TikToks and all that stuff, like it's a microcosm of the bigger thing going on, right? When I talk about team coaches, I think I talked about team coaches last week. With both of these teams, or at least with the Browns, right? Where people were worried about Kevin Stefanski going out. And I said my point with Kevin Stefanski being out is if you think he's coach of the year, he has built something that can be prepared if he doesn't have to be there. That's what they showed. And all season, this Cleveland Browns team has overcome adversity after adversity. They have overcome so much, you forget how incredible it is they even got to 11-5 to begin with, right? With the first-year head coach, There's a reason why a bunch of people were predicting 8-8 for this team at the beginning of the season. First-year head coach, no training camp, no preseason, Baker in a new offense for the 5th time. All of these things. That's what the Browns overcame. Nick Chubb injured, Wyatt Teller injured, Odell injured, Grant Delpit, their starting free safety, injured. All of these injuries just kept piling up. And then on top of it, the corona just hit us like a bus at the end of the season, like a truck week after week. It cost us a Jets game on top of other things. I think they just played poorly in that Jets game as well. I don't want to give it all to Rona. They had to go in there empty-handed both weeks against Pittsburgh. It was a tall order with no head coach in the second game at Pittsburgh, a place that has hurt you a ton of times. But let's flip it, right? Let's talk about the Pittsburgh Steelers and what they have been all year, right? Because I remember at the beginning of the season, Sunday, I know you remember this. We were talking about the Ravens being the team that struggles in prime time. Well, after Thanksgiving, that all went to Pittsburgh, right? Pittsburgh struggled in almost every primetime game they played in, right? The Monday Night Football game against the Bengals, the Tuesday night game against Washington, they lost that. What was the other one? The Monday night one against the Bengals.
Wednesday against Baltimore.
Wednesday against Baltimore. All of these night games, they just kind of struggled. And then they had the 2 good quarters against Indy. And the one thing I saw about this Pittsburgh team that was different than all the other Pittsburgh teams that ever looked like they could be a contender is that this team is not one that seemed to encourage the adversity, right? The Browns had all this stuff going on. Did you see a single player tweet about what the Ravens got, or if the game should be delayed, or how we lose in our bye week? When the Steelers had that situation happen to them, tweet after tweet. Bunch of tweets. You could even catalog them. Oh, man, Ravens cheating. And look, you can think all that stuff's true, but if you're tweeting at it, you're showing me what's on your head, and it's not the game. It's all the things you think have to go right in order for you to win because you don't think you can overcome adversity. And then this week, it was a perfect combination of both, right? Because the Browns are overcoming all the adversity in the world to get to that game and play it on Sunday, and the Steelers were benefiting from it. But what happened? Boom. As soon as the game starts, 7-0, 14-0, 21-0, 28-0. And they had all of a sudden, this team that has no head coach, no Denzel Ward, had all the adversity on the world against their shoulders starting this game. Now all of the adversity, historic amounts of adversity, are on the Pittsburgh Steelers. And Ben responded with more interceptions. Now, he did end up playing well later on in the game. You could say it's because the defense tightened up or loosened up. The Browns have had a problem with that, right? They have gotten big leads multiple times this year, and they've let teams back into games more comfortable than I would like it, right? So I don't think that's all on the scheme. I think that's also on the personnel. They just do that too often. It's one of the quirks on this team that I don't like. But what the quirk in this team I do like is that they overcome it. They never were worried. People thought Baker Mayfield was crazy when he went on his press conference. Like, it don't matter. We got to play on Sunday. If we have one practice, if we have no practice, we got to be grateful for what we get. We get to play a playoff game on Sunday. That is what it is. Something tells me that situation we're going down in Pittsburgh, we would have heard all about it before the game even started, about how this was unfair for them. And again, you can feel that way. That's fine. But when you let it be known, that's an issue, right? Because you're showing that to the other team. The Cleveland Browns were a team that played traditionally like, I know Ryan Clark said this, but the Browns look more like the Steelers than the Steelers did. And the Steelers look just like the Browns, right? Go 11-0. Like, this is so Browns,
nice,
right? Of the Steelers, right? They go 11-0. They get pumped up, and right when it gets really, really close to like, oh man, here we go, best season ever, air goes out the balloon. And in the first playoff game, after you've gotten a little bit of hope since the Indy game, it just goes all the way, right? Once that snap goes over your head, you're like, oh, this is not going to be our day. And the Juju comments are one thing, right? And that's obviously going to be the Juju quote. But I think it's more emblematic of what the mindset was going into that game, which is, we could beat the Browns. They don't got their best players. We've beaten them a ton of times. We beat them 37-6. We're going to go in there, do our thing. We're going to show up. We're going to do our thing. It ain't going to be like Cincinnati again. This is the playoffs. We're going to turn it on. We're going to flip the switch. Just that over-reliance on flipping the switch for a team that hasn't won the Super Bowl. So they went in with that energy, and then when they got punched in the chest, They had no idea what to do with it. This look on the sideline that was on everybody's face in the second quarter, that tells you everything you need to know. Because once they got punched in the chest, it was just that. What's happening? I don't know what to do. Not a single player was actually trying to do something about it. And maybe that guy was Ben, but at this age, you didn't want him to do anything about it. By the way, the moment I knew that this was different was a play late in the second quarter where Ben broke contain. He almost got sacked. He ran out and he threw deep down the field. And I was like, oh, man, I know that play. That fat guy chases Ben. Antonio Brown touchdown in the corner of the end zone. That always happens. That ball landed at the 10-yard line, short by like 10 yards. And I was like, that's like watching Mike Tyson punch somebody square in the jaw and the dude not being affected. Like the guy's lost his fastball. It's not there. It's shocking to see, especially as somebody who has lived in the fear of that, for him to get that play and just not be able to make it. That's amazing. That's incredible. That's something that should be concerning to Steeler fans. I thought Ben still had that in him. He did not have that in him. What we can say it was Randy Fichtner. We can say Ben's better drawing up the calls. I'm pretty sure they tried it all in that game. It didn't work. None of it worked. None of it worked. None of it was sufficient enough. And in the defense, let's talk about the Steeler defense. I thought they were going to stop the run a little bit more than they did. Brown's offensive line, body to body, dominated them. Won almost every single one of their run block sets. It was incredible to watch. Nick Chubb didn't even have to do that much work, and when they did their work, right? Kareem Hunt was running like a monster in this game once he got to the second level, to a level we haven't seen him run in quite a while. I'm happy to see that in the playoffs. All in all, the Pittsburgh team, they just had no identity in this game, right? Like, if you didn't know about the Pittsburgh Steelers defense coming in this game, you would assume, like, how did they get in? What are they good at? Are they gave up 48 points on like 47 points or 42 points on defense because the one was a fumble. Now there were short fields, but that's a lot of points for one of the best defenses in the NFL to give up. And then on offense, they struggled to move the ball out. And they also just sputtered at times. They were uncreative. You know, one of the funniest things that got pointed out to me was that play where the ball got snapped over their head. The next drive, they came back and ran the same play and got negative yards. Same exact play.
I'll talk about it. We'll talk about that.
The same exact play. They just ran. There's no creativity left in that offense. You thought that we were going to see like a Josh Dobbs package on 3rd and 1. The most creative.
We did get a package though. We did get a package this week. We got a new one.
Yeah, he got that Brown package right there, baby.
We got the Derek Watt package, baby.
Yeah, the one package they went to was Derek Watt. And yes, congratulations. It worked on that one drive that you didn't get in. And in the next drive, it didn't work. And then the Browns get the ball and score. So congratulations. You got creative and handed the ball to your fullback on 3rd and 1.
Yeah.
So super chat here from Corey freaking Preston for $5. I honestly feel like the Browns match up well with the Chiefs, especially with how the Chiefs were playing in the final stretch of the season. Got another one here from Mike Muffer for $2. Go Browns, go Bengals, Ohio 100. I think we had a couple more.
There was, I think, at least one more. Right?
Yeah, it's not showing in my thing.
Who are you concerned about? It's Colt Linder. Colt Linder, $2. Appreciate it, Colt. Q, are you concerned about Denzel Ward?
Yeah, I am concerned about Denzel Ward because the more time goes without us seeing. Now, the report is that they expect everybody back for this game. That's the report. But I just haven't heard from Denzel Ward in a while from a reliable source about what his status is, how he's doing. And, this is a serious virus that he has. Like the corona is not a joke. So, I hope just for his own health, he's doing fine. He's symptom free. But until we get an update, yes, I'm going to be worried about it because, again, you don't have Robert Jackson. You don't have AJ Green. Those are already not choice picks to put on a guy like Tyreek Hill. So that's going to be something you're going to want to make sure you watch going forward. But again, more adversity for this team to have to attempt to overcome. It is what it is with that. But that's the main through line, right? This team, the Browns team, played like the well-coached, well-motivated team, and the Steelers came in there playing like what I thought a 2019 Browns playoff berth would be, just entitled, just not ready, thinking they're going to crush everybody because, they're going to turn the switch on. We're just going to flip the switch and be better. Big Ben thinking he's just going to flip the switch on and be Big Ben versus the Browns. And, for 17 years, man. It worked. It definitely did work for Big Ben, but not tonight.
Cute. I wanted to add something. I think the disrespect of the Steelers in general show for a team that has not been playing good. Like, if you're hitting all cylinders and you want to be disrespectful, I guess. But second, something that we don't give enough credit, but we do criticize a lot, is Baker Mayfield. I would say this year, more than anything, the growth as a leader that I've seen from Baker has been pretty good. Or second to none right now. Like, we don't give that credit. We have been very dismissive to Baker Mayfield. Not we here necessarily, but we as like the media and people with Baker. But I would say Baker right now, similar what Q was saying, I think is such a good point. Like, well, that he made excuses? No, he was like, well, we had to play. There's nobody here crying for us, right? We just had to play. And then seeing that the team backs him up, right? I think Baker, like, think about Baker rookie year, right? With the whole I forgot the coach.
Hugh Jackson.
Yeah, with Hugh. But think about Baker now. You can see the maturity on him. You can see the growth, and you can see not only the growth as a player, which has been really good, but as a leader. And that's what you want from your quarterback, right? A leader. I will say I've been very impressed with Baker.
I mean,
Baker. Go ahead, man.
No, I was just saying, making Big Ben cry. I was reading something in the comments. That is quite the achievement. Achievement unlocked.
Well, and you have to give it up, right? Because I know I'm going to take this off, by the way, because I'm like dying in here. I did it for an hour, okay? I did it for an hour. I can't
That's
do it for
good.
an hour.
That's good.
If we go for 2 hours, I don't think I can do it. No, look, I'm a Steeler fan, right? But I have to at least, and we Steeler fans are so spoiled, right? I was getting in an argument with the Steeler fan earlier today. We only have 3 playoff wins in the last decade. We got to clear the whole coaching staff out. Only 3 wins in the last decade. I mean, again, the lack of self-awareness from some Steeler fans is just mind-boggling. What I admire about what the Browns did is, if this is true, right? If Ben Roethlisberger is retiring this week or this month or whatever, and the Cleveland Browns, who have not won a playoff game in this iteration of the franchise, come in and beat and retired the guy who has most tortured them for the last 15 years, right? And it's not that the Browns went to the playoffs and that win was against, the Colts or some random team. No. We talk about slaying the dragon, right? We use that phrase a lot. Steeler fans imagine slaying the dragon for them was going to be, one day we're going to match up with Tom Brady and Bill Belichick in the AFC Championship game, and we're going to beat them, and then we're going to win the Super Bowl, and it's always going to be right in the world. And that never is going to happen, Steeler. Never is going to happen, Steeler fans. Okay, there's never going to be a time when this team is going to beat Bill Belichick and Tom Brady. That's over now. We can't do it. But the Browns did. The Browns did slay the dragon. The Browns put it all together, went 11-5, made the playoffs, and then went to Heinz Field, where they have not beat Ben Roethlisberger ever in his entire career. And in the playoffs, beat him so badly, him and Pouncey may actually retire at this point. Look, I'm not happy about it as a Steeler fan, but in some way, some part of me has to admire that it's the Troy Polamalu thing, right? What a story it is. What a story it is that is actually how this played out.
Yeah, it's pretty incredible. And when you draft somebody first overall and you're the Cleveland Browns and you come in, and Baker Mayfield, I think by the time he took his first snap as a quarterback for the Cleveland Browns, the Browns were on a 20-game losing streak or something ridiculous like that, right? He came in with all of the negative streaks that this franchise has accumulated over the years and recently over his head. We looked at him as the first overall pick. You're going to have to break all of these streaks, right? And he did it. And that's where you have to give credit to Baker Mayfield. People can say whatever, if we want to relitigate who got drafted first or whatever, we could do that at a different time, but we're not going to act like all 3 teams going to get the quarterback that they needed. Okay. And he came in and he got rid of all of those things. The road losing streak, the home losing streak, all of these losing streaks that the Browns have accumulated. The one that they needed to accumulate, and the one that I don't know if I really thought they were going to be able to accomplish when they drafted him, was playoff game winning, just getting to the playoffs, winning a playoff game, and then not just winning a playoff game, but also beating Pittsburgh in Pittsburgh. Those were 3 separate dragons that this franchise needed to slay. Those are the last 3 hanging over this franchise's head at the end of this season that were still making it smell like the same old Browns, right? Those 3 things that they have not done in 20 years. Now that they have done those in one swoop, right? 2 weeks, you get into the playoffs against the Steelers, they let you in, and then you beat them at their place. You get rid of all of the monkeys on the back that this franchise has had, all of those stupid streaks that this franchise has had, that every time we watch a Browns game, we got to see somebody on color commentary bring up because they think they're the first genius to figure out that the Browns have a lot of weird losing streaks, that all of these things, right? Now when the Browns come to Pittsburgh next year, we ain't talking about 17 years no more, right? We ain't talking about the uphill battle that it is. It's just another game against a division rival, right? Nameless gray faces and all that. But it hasn't been that for a while because that monkey has been on the back of this franchise. So Baker has come in here and taken care of all of those things. And I said this, even in 2019, where he was taking a ton of crap, I said the one thing that was impressive about Baker Mayfield is that at no point during that 2019 season, as bad as things went, did anybody turn on Baker. Did anybody turn on that quarterback? And you look at other places. Carson Wentz is a prime example of a team that just turned on their quarterback the second things didn't go straight. That went off the rails last year as it could have went, and everybody was insistent that Baker was the guy behind the scenes and as players go. And that told me, all right, this dude can lead a team, but can he play at that level? And this year, he has played at that level with the help of Kevin Stefanski. And look, Kevin wasn't even there today against the Steelers. He still had one of those patented, 300 yards, 3 touchdowns, no interception games. It's not going to be a highlight reel game, but he get the job done. That's exactly what you needed to do against this team. So Baker Mayfield deserves all the credit in the world. Kevin Stefanski deserves all the credit in the world, but that offensive line deserves so much credit. The coaching deserves so much credit. To have a dude step in off the street, and play well like that, that's not the first time you've had a guy who hasn't taken a lot of snaps at a position on that offensive line play well. That is indicative of the culture that you are breeding. That is indicative of the long-term future. We have seen teams, Ace. I know you have seen the Steelers bring in random dudes all the time. They have a good years. Tony, I know you've seen the Patriots bring in random dudes all the time. You're like, that's where we're going to attack. Malcolm Butler, this bum, the undrafted corner that they got out here playing in a playoff game. We're going to attack him. All of a sudden, Malcolm Butler turns out to be decent. It's because of the franchise and the structure that you build around him to put people in the best positions to be successful. That's something we've seen from the Ravens. That's something we've seen from Pittsburgh. That's something we've seen from we're seeing from Kansas City, and we've seen from New England, obviously, when they had Brady in there. And now the Browns are starting to do those things. And more importantly, than just winning a playoff game and having a good, successful year. That's the stuff that says, hey, we're going to stay out this basement. We're not going to go back to same old Browns after this year. We're not going to do the whole way. We get one good year and then we stink for the next 15. That tells me that they got something good building here. It's not a fluke. You have a franchise quarterback and you got a franchise coach. Lock them both in. Let's go. Let's ride. AFC North, it's going to be interesting to see. Lamar, Baker, and Joe Burrow can definitely get his name in that mix, and maybe the Steelers can get lucky and get a Trey Lance or somebody who becomes decent, and maybe one day this division seats 4 playoff teams. It's definitely possible, but that's what you have to strap in for. AFC North is going to be ridiculously good at football. Yeah. And just because the Browns have slayed that dragon, I also want to make it known, does not mean you can get complacent. Because this is a division, you can easily go 10-6, and you won't be in the playoffs. Like, you're gonna have to keep up this year. Yeah. There is no room for complacency or feeling like you got the job done, because every year you will have the toughest schedule in football, because you will still have to play the Cincinnati Bengals, the Ravens, and the Steelers 2 times a year, and that's always going to be tough when it comes to that. But congratulations to the Browns. I feel like finally, for the first time in this expansion era, this team does not feel remotely like same old Browns, and I think we're done with that. It's over for a while. Forever.
It died on Sunday. I mean, it's dead.
It's done. That died. That the Pittsburgh was the one thing they needed to do to kill it. They did it. I'm so glad they did it. In Pittsburgh, everything against them. Nobody believing they can do it. Well, nobody outside, even people in Cleveland didn't believe.
No, there were people. Quincy, I told you, I was on a podcast last week where the guy was just basically just like, I can't believe this, that they're going to lose. We're way behind on Super Chats, by the way.
All right, so Super Chats here. We got Richard Lilly, $5. Denzel Ward produced a negative PCR test today, is eligible to be activated this week. Kevin Stefanski will rejoin the team on Thursday. Thanks for that, Rich. We got Ted Distel here, $5. Q, I wonder if Stefanski will tighten that D up now that he had to witness that third down comeback like we do.
I got something to say on that real quick, though.
Go ahead.
Part of the reason those comebacks happen when the Browns are up late or up like in these games is because if you watch it, the Browns' success with these turnovers are exclusively like when the defensive line is playing really well, and the problem is they don't have depth there. So when they're up, they got to sit Myles Garrett. And I don't know if you guys ever watched this team without Myles Garrett on there for the most part. I mean, last week they had a pretty decent game without Myles Garrett on there. But when Myles Garrett's not on there, you can tell. Like, you'll just be watching the game and the team's moving the ball down the field, and you'll be like, what's going on? Oh, Myles isn't on the field. So a lot of that also has to do with the pass rush not being able to kick up to the same level. And when that's not happening, the secondary gets burnt because they're just not talented in the secondary. They're low on depth.
All right, got another one here from Mike T. I'm sorry I can't put it up on the screen because it's not showing, but I got another chat up. He says for $9.99, as a Browns fan, seeing how Myles has been after the C word makes me very nervous for Ward coming back, especially needing to guard Hill. Our best D is going to be 24 and 27 running wild. Keep Patty off the field. Got another one here from Tristan Green for $2.16. I like that one. Factory of Sadness is closed. Steel Mill of Misery open.
Is there one above that? Josh Z?
Yeah.
Can we get the Josh Z one? Right above
Josh Z. It's not showing it over here,
okay.
but
I got it.
Go ahead.
It says it's Josh Z, $5. As much as I hate prevent D, I think we trust our offense to score, and the D focuses making the other team score in long drives because of the secondary. I also
will be interested to see how they come out against Kansas City, because I think the beast with Pittsburgh and the problem with Pittsburgh is that the Browns were like so worried at points in there when they were going out in cover 2 about the middle of the field, because that's normally where Ben attacks, that it left them very vulnerable at times. But I did see at the end of the third quarter that they started to make that adjustment and really like the one play of Chase Claypool on the sideline. It was the one he brought up in film review where it's like they had to double team me to stop me. I get you, Chase, but you should be encouraged by that, right? You're Chase Claypool. You should be double teamed, right? Like, okay, I don't know why he's complaining. But yeah, Robert Jackson was on him. They have him play the flat, and then Carl Joseph, instead of doing what Ronnie Harrison did, which was sit, wait, middle, then crash over, he just ran over. So maybe those adjustments help. I'm so worried about our slow safeties against these really fast wide receivers, but I also think Myles Garrett having a Myles Garrett-like game is going to be a huge key into slowing down the Kansas City Chiefs, because you're just going to need to create a turnover one way or another.
Kodak 655 asks, "Are the Steelers going to win the division next season?"
Is he saying that? Is he saying that for real, or is that a sarcastic question, Kodak?
Well, he's got a rain, a purple and gold rain logo. So
maybe he just realist. He's just a realist. He knows. Listen, I don't know how we're going to stop this Steeler team next year.
And then we got a super chat here from Noah for $1.99. Is Ron Stanley coming back versus the Bills? Sonny, do you know?
I mean, Ronnie Stanley blew out his ACL in week 6 or 7.
He ain't back. Listen, doctors are good these days. They ain't that good.
They ain't that good. But since we don't have any more super chats, I do want to, because I haven't heard you talking about the defense, because I will say, did the offense struggle surprise me? Not really, because we have talked about it, like, the Steelers having only one great half, but the defense, right? I know that we're put in bad situations, meaning field-wise, but they didn't hold them in none of those to a field goal, right? It was 28-0 in the first quarter, and I know 7 points was a fumble or a bad snap fumble.
Yeah, the bad snap.
But after that, even though I understand there was short field for Cleveland, but I feel like there was no resistance in that D-line specifically. There was no resistance for that D-line. There was no push. They look old. That D-line, I mean, we're talking TJ was super young, but they look old. They didn't look like it looked like one team wanted to, and the other team thought that they were supposed to have to. Yeah. And they want to, the Cleveland just came and played and took it.
Yeah, I mean, this is the thing, right? Is look, Quincy, I obviously have a lot of respect for your work, but I'm going to disagree with you hardcore here on this whole, like, it's a mentality issue in Pittsburgh. Look, I get that the Juju stuff is taken on a life of its own now. The Browns are the Browns, right? But from where I'm sitting today, like, as a Steeler fan, am I worried about that's his mentality going into the game? No, because the thing that people leave out of that quote, the Browns are the Browns, that the very next sentence out of his mouth is, and they're a good football team, right? But we don't hear that. We just hear the Browns are the Browns. And so that, look, I don't think Juju went into this game overlooking the Browns. In fact, what's weird to me is this keeps getting said, but isn't that an insult to the Cleveland Browns, right? The idea that, oh, well, if the Steelers had really played, if they had taken them seriously, well, then this would have been a very different contest. No, right? The thing that hit me as soon as the score hit 14-0, I turned to my wife and I said, I'm an idiot. I am an idiot because I actually predicted that this team was going to win this football game. When I said on the show for a month now, this team is one and done, right? Every week, one and done. This team's headed for one and done, right? That's all I said. And like every Steeler fan, and look, obviously I want to be, Mr. Oh, well, I tell it like it is, right? I'm a Steeler fan that tells it like it is. No, I'm a fan too, okay? And when I watched the second half of Indianapolis, like every Steeler fan, I went, oh, squirrel, oh, we're good again. Wait, hold on. Everything I saw before this? No, that doesn't count. No. This half of football, this 2 quarters of football in a 6-game stretch of complete and total crap, this 2-quarter stretch of football, this is the real Steelers. Yeah, this is the real one. That rest of the stuff doesn't count. And then, look, if you ignore the second half of Indianapolis, right? Because Quincy, you brought up the 3 primetime games. Well, the interesting thing about the 3 primetime games, they're all in a row, right? Yeah, they were bad against Baltimore. Then they were even worse against Washington. Then they were embarrassingly bad against Cincinnati. And in the first quarter of the Indianapolis game, they were down in that game 21-7, the 7 coming on a strip sack. Their offense could not move the football whatsoever. And then, worst of all, in the wild card round, they're down 28-0 in the first quarter. It's a progression with this team. And I said it right in the Washington game. This team got worse. Every single week, they got worse. And if you ignore the mirage that was the second half of Indianapolis, well, then this is exactly the team that we've been watching. It was bad, and then it got a little worse and a little worse and a little worse until the point where you were playing a playoff team that had everything to play for. And the truth of the matter for the Steelers is, and why there's not a lot of Steelers fans in chat, no one wants to watch today, is not because, we overlooked the Browns. The Steelers are a bad football team. That team was going to lose to anybody. The loss to Cincinnati was not a fluke. And the fact that they were down to 28-0 to the Browns, not a fluke. This has been a bad football for 6 weeks we've been watching. And it just so happened that we embarrassed ourselves on Sunday night against this Cleveland Browns team. And I'm happy today that we're not talking about all the stuff that I'm angry about as a Steelers fan, right? Because, the fact that we're talking about Chase Claypool on a TikTok and not the fact that my coach, Mike Tomlin, who's won a Super Bowl and been to another one, was out-coached by a backup coach. Good. I don't want to talk about that because my coach wouldn't go for it on 4th and 1 at midfield with all the momentum in the game. And he would rather punt it. And not only would he rather punt it, we're going to the play call that is called is we're going to draw him off sides from the punt formation. From the punt formation, you're going to draw him off sides, Mike Tomlin? Really? Okay. Yeah, great job. We're not going to talk about the fact that on 3rd and 1, they have a new idea. We have a new idea for 3rd and 1. We're going to hand it off to Derek Watt, our fullback. And then on the next 3rd and 1, we're going to call the exact same play, not the same concept. We're going to call with the same formation and the same motion, the exact same play. The 2T. Go to Alex Kazora's YouTube. He did a wonderful breakdown of this. It's the same play. We're not going to talk today, hopefully. Well, I am, but thank goodness we didn't talk today about the fact that the Browns ran the exact same concept the Chargers did 3 years ago when every Steeler fan lost their mind that John Bostic was covering Keenan Allen on a crucial 3rd down late in the game that ended up costing them that football game. 3rd and 2 in this football game on the drive after they punt, and you've got the exact same formation and the same play. The Browns run it, the same one the Chargers ran, and who's covering Jarvis Landry? Robert Spillane. Linebackers on wide receivers. Look, I get that it happens, but the Steelers in that moment have to have a check. And we're also, thank goodness, not talking about the fact today that the Steelers have all these holes next year. They're going to lose. They're going to lose Ben. They're going to lose Pouncey. But even the young guys that we were supposed to be counting on, guys like Justin Lane, can't even get a hat on Sunday. Didn't play one single defensive down. Was benched in favor of a practice squad-ish player in James Pierre, a core special teamer was playing cornerback because this team has no trust in a player who they thought could take over for Joe Hayden. No, it is very dark in Pittsburgh right now. if this is the end of Ben Roethlisberger, if this is the end of Mike Pouncey, this team has a ton of holes. And I think mentality has nothing to do with the problems in Pittsburgh. The problems are all there on the field. You can see them in front of your eyes. It is not a mirage what's happening in Pittsburgh. That's real. That's a bad football team. And they have a lot. It's a bad football team that's going to get worse next year because they don't have a lot of answers on that roster.
Let me add two things here. Edmonds, oh my God, Edmonds. Edmonds, I felt like he was out of position every time I was looking at him to make the tackle. But second, this is something I don't get at all, Tony, and I would like for you to explain. I understand that they cannot run the ball to save their life. But in a 3rd and 1, 4th and 1, you have a 6'8", 6'6", whatever it is, Big Ben. Is he that bad of a sneaker? As I can remember, like Tom Brady.
So, the QB sneak thing is an interesting one. You could write a book on QB sneaks in Pittsburgh because they used to run them all the time. Bruce Arians and Ben Roethlisberger used to run them all the time. Todd Haley got to town. They stopped calling quarterback sneak. They literally did not call one for his entire tenure. One of the first plays that Ben Roethlisberger ran after Randy Fichtner took an offensive coordinator was a QB sneak. So I don't, and now Randy Fichtner is still the coordinator. They're not doing it now. I'm going to guess because of injury, right? Because again, Ben is the guy. Ben, I agree. Listen, I agree with you. But they don't run it for. I think for injury purposes, they don't want to put him in that scenario.
Then put your boy Dobbs. He's a total.
Well, they didn't even suit. They didn't suit Dobbs up for this one. It wasn't an option.
Oh, gotcha.
Yeah, they didn't even suit Dobbs up. Yeah. And
the weird thing about that 4th and 1 punt was that the run game was actually working a little bit. Today. So the Browns really don't like. In the Browns, like if you watch the Browns, they stink at stopping, like especially like shotgun runs up the middle. They stink at stopping those. So I was shocked that he pulled them off the field, and then. Yeah, it didn't make any sense. I think Chisel Adonis said in his video, "Oh, what does the Mike Prefer coach? Special teams. How you going to try to get him to draw offsides? Yeah, you going to get the special teams.
We're running motion all around on special teams like that's going to get him to draw offsides. What universe are we living in?"
Yeah, it's like, if you're running motion on a punt, you know what the reaction isn't going to be. Oh, boy, I better get up there real fast to rush the punt so I can overrun my lane and let somebody slip through on a fake. Okay. No, now everybody's going to play safe punt and just be like, all right, let me stand around and watch. I just don't get the ideal there or where that concept came from. And then, they had success going deep, and it wasn't much that the Browns could do to scheme that. And it just seemed like they had answers. They could have done things. Just went away from them. There was interceptions.
Yeah, I mean, look, given the first quarter, I mean, it is like miraculous that the game was within 12 at one point. The game is within 12, and the Steelers have the ball at midfield. It was insane. And so, this idea, right, that you punt in that situation because you trust your defense. No, you don't trust your defense because the defense no-showed. I mean, the sad part about this, and look, people will try to say, oh, well, this is who the Steelers defense was all along. No. The Steelers defense is actually good. I mean, and the sad part for me is that I don't know when they're going to get to play in a playoff game again. Is any Steeler fan in chat today confident that we're going to watch this Steeler team even in a wild card game next year? I'm certainly not. I don't know what's going to happen next season. We have so much left to do with Ben and Pouncey and all of that. So, the crappy part is like Minka was bad. Watt was bad. The Steelers have led the league in sacks for 4 straight seasons of the most sacks in the National Football League. They have for 2 seasons been in the top 5 in turnovers, including 37 last year and 27 this year, second in the league this year. The only team I even know of in the last 10 years to do that, to have top 5 turnover rates 2 years in a row, because usually that stuff falls off. Okay. Again, in this game, the defense had not just no sacks, they didn't even hit Baker Mayfield. No hits on Baker and no interceptions. No turnovers whatsoever for this defense. The no-show, like you said, Sonny, the no-show for me of the defense is even more surprising because, look, I will be honest, it was the easiest money in my life. I put money on the Steelers not scoring on their opening drive. I did. I thought there's no way they score. And I put money. How much
you miss Bud Dupree, right? So the question is, I think the Steelers basically will have, if they want to contend next year, Dupree is a necessity. Right?
No. I think you go to Highsmith. You go to Highsmith because Highsmith looked good. He got hurt in this game, but you go to Highsmith. You save the money.
I don't think the difference in the defense was about the edge rusher though. Like I don't think it was Highsmith or even the other guy or Chase Marsh, even though he shouldn't have been out there like that. That was what it was. But the big difference is the inside guys, right? The guys we talked about for Pittsburgh, Alu, Cam Hayward, Stephon Tuitt, and what was the other guy who got some snaps last week? You know,
Chris Wormley.
Yeah, Chris Wormley. But he's
Ravens, you can have him back. No.
Yeah, but you know the what has happened to Cam Hayward as of late, right? Like this is not just one bad game. This is not just two bad games. Like he did not show up against the Bengals as well. So you just got to be wondering. Like Cam Hayward looked like a beast earlier on in this season. You get to the later part, and you can't even blame it on rest because he
sat out. Yeah,
he didn't even come to the game last week. So it's like, what is he going to be back to what Cam Hayward's going to be? Because a lot of what that defense can do is about that defensive line, and you can have good edges, but Cam Hayward in that interior being as dominant as they are with those edges, like putting offensive lines in such a quarrel of not knowing what to be able to do, that is a huge part in the success that they can have in there. And if they can't get that level of play back in the interior that you can get with a Cam Hayward, then that on top of a not so great offense, that's something you can't really recover and win a ton of games with.
Well, the worry with Cam Hayward is that he just regresses. Like he's hit his peak and he's now going to regress backwards. And they just paid him. I mean, they just paid. I don't think they paid him for very long. I think it was 2-year, 3-year deal maybe. But they literally just signed him to a new deal for next year. So yeah, that's going to be a problem for sure. For sure. We have some super chats, by the way, we should get to.
All right, so Misfit Culture TV for $5 for not talking about all the issues the Steelers had. Tony, you might as well go ahead and let it all out. As a Browns fan, I was shocked for you guys.
Yeah, and that's the thing, right? It's like what I'm trying to say though is I'm happy that that the national media, that this show, right, that we're like that the thing behind Quincy is Juju's face and not the trying to draw him off sides on 4th and 1. That's the stuff that I find embarrassing. The Juju Claypool stuff again. That's for you guys to have fun.
It is what it is. Yeah.
Codex 6555 $5, guys. Curious, who would you rather have, Humphrey or Ward? Trying to see something.
Oh, Humphrey, because he's on the field more, right? Like,
the injuries. Yeah, you're right. I think that puts him over the top. Yeah.
Yep.
Billy Williams for $2.99. Which punt was a worse call, Titans or Pittsburgh?
They're equally bad.
Both pretty bad, but I would say the Titans was worse because it was like you literally have the best third. Like at least for the Steelers, they have the excuse, right? Short field conversions this year. Been awful. You saw what they did on 2 points conversions. 3rd and 1. Tony's talked about it for weeks.
Right.
The problem. Right. You got Derrick Henry, dog. Like, and you know what I mean? Like you're a running football team, and your quarterback's like 6'6". You can't get a 3rd and 1.
Yeah. I know. And even Sonny, there's like, hey, I don't know, we were stopping the run. Yeah, but Derrick Henry averaged 2 yards a carry. Like, you know what I mean? Like, yes, we were stopping him, but like all they needed was 2 yards. There's a lot of analytics about 4th down when you should go for it on 4th down. The surrender index, which is one of my favorites, had that as the most cowardly punt of the season. Every punt in consideration for the entire year, that was the most cowardly punt of the year.
Yeah, by big bad Mike Vrabel, who wears a mustache and acts like he's like some riverboat gambler. He has 6'2", 250-pound Derrick Henry, literally the best 4th and 1 option football has ever produced out of the state of Alabama. And he's like, nah, we'll see what the defense can do against the former MVP who's been clicking on all cylinders for like 15 straight minutes.
Right.
They deserved that pick.
And
they deserved to have their logo danced on. They deserved all of it.
The Steelers were at midfield. The Titans were like in Ravens territory, and they still punted on 4th and 2.
John Boyce is going to make a hell of a video about that in 5 years. I can't wait.
Got another one here from BCO80 for $5. I'm all-time Ravens, so I've seen a lot of Tomlin not going for it on 4th and 1. It's not like him. He's usually an awesome gambler in those X's.
I disagree. I think Tomlin in these cases, like I've killed Tomlin for a couple things over his career, right? Number one, bad with game management timeouts. He's gotten better with that over time. Bad with challenges. He's gotten better with that over time. But this, I think, is still another one of those cases, right? The analytics part of the Steelers, I think, is still something that's very, very lacking. And these situations, he always does it as a gut feel. You can't do it as a gut feel. You gotta just go in those moments with the numbers. And the numbers in that moment said, you go for it. Absolutely.
I think also people think about Mike Tomlin as a gambler because remember that year the Steelers were basically going every other time for 2?
Yes,
so
but That was peak killer bees, and he was right. They converted a ton of those.
I know, but after that, people are like, "Oh, Mike Tomlin always goes for it, right? He's like a gambler, man. It was a good year."
But it was
also
just
didn't make sense. Was like he went for all of the 2-point conversions, but did not go for that 4th down. I thought by that time he was playing like,
Yeah.
what do I have to lose? I was shocked he punt. I guess when the score got tight, he was thinking with the defense. And to be fair, the defense did shut down Baker for about 3 straight drives at that point, forced 3 straight punts. It just so happened once they punted, that was the drive that the Browns offense got going. They hit
let
some
him off the hook.
screens.
It was
Okay.
Yeah.
And they scored that touchdown. And I remember being like, all right.
Yes,
there we go.
Right, I knew it. I knew. See, I knew. I said as soon as they punted, I went, "Oh my god, we're going to lose this game now," because it was that let off, right? I think the Browns were probably getting tight in that moment. Clearly, Baker had the one where it went right off of Steven Nelson's hands, could have easily been a pick six, right? They were getting a little tight, but when you punt in that moment and you're like, "Oh no, I trust my defense," and by the way, you trust your defense, not just you have to say I trust my defense, not just on that possession. I trust my defense for the rest of the game, right? Because you have to score 2 touchdowns in the 4th quarter here, and you really can't have the Browns score many more points at that point. So, again, you're giving the Browns extra opportunities to score when you are the one down by 13. It just doesn't make that's why just giving them the ball to make any sense.
All right, Mike T says, Tony, don't you have to hope, though, since the Steelers D had key players injured during the season, Dupree and Bush. If Ben is done, should y'all go all in on defense?
Well, look, you have to feel good about the fact that, yes, they are going to get some guys back, right? Joe Hayden didn't play in this game. Obviously Bush was hurt for the year, Bud Dupree. But a lot of the guys I just talked about, 2 of the 3, they're not coming back, right? Hayden might be a salary cap casualty, and Dupree's probably gone anyway. So this is, and you're also going to lose Mike Hilton, and you're probably going to lose Cam Sutton. So the core of this defense will stay together, yes, but it's going to be a very different look next year. I think they still have some really good players. Are they going to be as good as they were this season or last season? Probably not.
Trib has a $5 one. Appreciate that, Trib. I didn't mind the Titans punt. They weren't going to throw it, and Campbell was licking his chops. Vrabel probably saw that and called for a punt.
I bet Trib likes to punt. Yeah.
Ravens fans love to punt. Yeah, of course.
Trib also says they were also down with a lot of time left. And then there's another one from Mike Shepard for $5. Says, I have Cleveland coming to Baltimore for the AFC Championship game. And
for this show, I'll tell you that.
We got another one here for Jake Evans, $4.99. Chase and Juju need to retire and become full-time TikTokers.
All right, okay, we'll keep Ben. We'll keep Prime Ben for 5 more years, but those 2 retire. That's fine.
All right, so that is gonna wrap this show up. Appreciate you guys for being here. We had 900, and I think at the most 60 people watching. Wanted to get this to 1,000. So if you are watching right now, please be sure to hit this with a thumbs up and like this video. Please be sure to share this channel, share this video to all your friends. We truly appreciate everything. Before we get out of here, I'm gonna let my man Quincy give his sign-off cue. Where can they find your stuff?
You can find me on youtube.com/Quincy Care. You can also find me on Twitter at Quincy. You can find me watching Juju cry, watching film in his Corvette, listening to Drake. And, hopefully if the Browns can continue on this starts a streak negative for the Pittsburgh Steelers. And also, this streak has gone the other way. It's not been talked about, but it's been 3 years since the Steelers have won a game in First Energy Stadium. So a little bit of a negative streak starting there for Pittsburgh. Oh, you just hate to see that continue, right?
And you can find me at New Stripe City. If you're looking for any Bengals news on Joe Burrow and mock drafts right now, you can find that over there. You can also find me here on the AFC North Talk channel. Please be sure to hit that subscribe button. Tony, where can they find your stuff?
You can follow me on Twitter at Steeler Country. You can find me on Locked On Steelers every Tuesday. You can find me here, of course, Tuesday and Thursday, 5:45 p.m. Eastern time. Make sure you subscribe. And like I said, I will be starting a new YouTube channel. It'll be called Steeler Country. Be on the lookout for that. Follow me on Twitter for the details there. I think I'm going to start it first week of February.
That's awesome, man. Just in time to get into that draft, Tony.
Well, when I saw Ben crying on the sideline, I thought, okay, well, you know what? If the era is ending right now and they're going to start a new one, might as well start a new era for myself as well. So we'll
there
see.
You go. And my guy Sonny, where can they find your stuff?
SCG Sport everywhere, YouTube, IG, Facebook, Twitter. I do a live IG halftime. Also, pregame show, although this game for the Ravens is at 8:05 p.m., which is 1 in the morning. So that pregame was called get Sunny energy because Sunny's gonna go straight. But yeah, you can find, and obviously here AFC North Talk. Make sure you hit that like. Where our videos are averaging like 5K, 6K watch, and we have about 3K subscribers. So make sure you subscribe to the channel, hit the bell. The numbers have been awesome, guys. The support, awesome. Thank you.
Yeah, we went from 3,000 when this stream started to 3,100 right now. So thank you to everyone who is finding the channel and subscribing. And if you haven't subscribed already, listen, this content is going to continue throughout the playoffs. So make sure you guys like this video and subscribe to the channel. Hit the bell so you'll be notified when we go live.
Definitely. So please hit that notification bell, as Tony just pointed out, so that you can be here for our preview show, which is coming this Thursday. So be sure to hit that. And Quincy, was there something else you want to say?
No, I was just saying ding the notification bell.
Ding that bell. Ding the bell. Yes, sir. So another classic AFC North talk in the books, and we will see you Thursday.
Have you ever
Are you listening? Damn.